For joining me again today. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Look, we heard an ominous warning from the medical officer of health in Toronto saying if the number of COVID-19 variant infections keeps growing, we will be in a third wave worse than anything we've seen so far. Let me start there. Do you share that ominous warning?
I do. Now, a third wave seems like it's almost inevitable for a number of reasons. One, we seem to be mimicking the 1918 Spanish flu trajectory, and they had a third wave around this time. Two is that this is the way things work. It's based on human behavior. As things get better, we re-enter society, and the case numbers go up again. And three, the new variants. And it seems likely that the mechanism for our third wave will be one of these hyper-transmissible variants. So the threat is real and likely.
All right, the City of Toronto, and we heard the concern expressed by the Chief Medical Officer today. They're now pushing to delay the reopening in that city until March 9th instead of next week. What would your advice be?
I think that's a good idea. Look, the numbers are coming down, which is good, but we're coming down to the levels we saw back in October when we were first considering closing in the first place. So it's a strange place to be considering opening up. Our healthcare system is still taxed, and so if we plateau here, that doesn't do a lot in terms of saving the healthcare workers some energy and time and stress. And if the plan here was to enact restrictions to buy us time to get better public health assets, we haven't used that time well. So we still need to get our ducks in a row in terms of measuring and surveilling for these new variants and in terms of getting guidance for what to do if there's a new outbreak of the new variants. We need better testing, we need better contact tracing, we need better tools, and we need time to allow vaccination. We're in a race here. Can we vaccinate enough people to get ahead of the likelihood of the new variants being dominant? And if we give the virus a head start in that race, that's not a good idea.
Okay, tell me more about that. How will we know if we've managed to check it? If this intersection between trying to get enough vaccines into arms to push back the variant. How do we know how that unfolds?
Surveillance. We need to have the tools on the ground to know when and where the new variants are manifesting. So we can do wastewater surveillance, we can do regular proactive active surveillance in the community using our rapid testing capacity. We need to do this in places like schools and workplaces. If we rely upon people to present themselves in hospitals to be tested, that's not good enough. That's passive surveillance. So we need to really retask our active surveillance system. And we need to get more vaccine doses. That seems to be at the bottom of all of this. The one solution everybody can get behind is vaccinate quickly and at scale. So we need to procure more vaccines. When
we hear, and it's the province of Ontario, and we may see this argument build across the country as well about pushing back reopenings or reinstituting some lockdown measures to try and stop the spread of the variants, and that's going to result in, no doubt, pushback from businesses who are already being battered by the pandemic closings and arguing. They say that, look, they can keep their customers safe with the measures they're taking. How strong is that argument in the face of the way these variants seem to spread and the stronger effect they have?
I'm sympathetic to these arguments. However, people need to understand that the new variants are so transmissible that our mitigation tools might not be enough. So the margin of error for failure is now very, very thin indeed. We can't risk sloppy mask wearing. We need better quality masks. We need a better investment in better ventilation in our institutions. I don't know if these businesses have air purifiers or HVAC systems of high quality filtration. These are the things that need to happen. The new variants are so hyper-transmissible, and they might actually be more lethal, that the ability of our current mitigation strategies to contain them is deeply in question.
We now are told we have some 600 cases of variants present in 10 provinces. That number creeps up every day. It doesn't seem like a lot, though, to a lot of people, but do you believe that's probably underreported? And if so, why is that so worrisome?
It probably is underreported, but not by much. Now, the problem is that we're looking at exponential growth, and exponential growth is not something easily digested by the human brain. It's why most of us don't get rich. We don't understand finances that well. The thing about exponential growth is that there are two phases, the long horizontal phase and the explosive short vertical phase. As a result, things look good until they don't. The cases look low until suddenly they're out of control. Any public health response then has to feel like an overreaction. We need to act while the cases are few to prevent them from getting high. So it's a difficult mindset to wrap your brain around. That's the nature of public health. We have to be proactive and precautionary. The fact that the variants exist at all and are growing is deeply concerning because they will explode out of control unless they are contained.
If that isn't enough to get people concerned and taking the necessary measures to protect themselves and the people around them, we are also hearing today about the discovery of the first recombinant event where two variants have come together in a hybrid variant, in this case a variant from the UK and a variant from California. How worrisome is that as a new development?
Well, it sounds scary. It's something out of a horror movie, right? But this is not unheard of in the world of small-scale pathogens. Microscopic organisms share DNA all the time, and this is not an unheard of event. It may actually be beneficial in some ways. It may create a less lethal, less transmissible creature, or maybe worse. We don't know yet. So I would not be panicking about this just yet. Keep in mind that the arisal of new variants is inevitable. The more transmission we have, the more cases we have in the community, the higher likelihood of things like this happening. The way forward is to diminish transmission, lower the number of cases, and vaccinate at scale so that mutations cannot occur and recombinant events cannot occur.
Raywat Deonandan, always good to get your perspective. Thanks for offering it to us again tonight. Take care.
My pleasure.